Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 26th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you a broad overview that we can all relate to, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep into each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. So as we come into this week, one of the aspects that's not really been discussed very much is the fact that Saturn, the planet of structure, in one of its two home zones of Aquarius, is in a semi-sextile with Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So we've got two planets located in their home berths, so they're in dignity. This semi-sextile is interesting because we're seeing some major structural changes in the world, and this week of course is very much to do with Capricornian energy because we have the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Pluto all in that sign. We also have Venus and Mercury coming into a conjunction on the 29th, despite Mercury going into retrograde that day. And also on the first day of 2023, Venus and Pluto come into an exact conjunction. So why am I talking about Saturn and Neptune in Aquarius and Pisces? Because I feel it's the direction of travel that's starting to open up. Once Pluto moves into Aquarius on the 24th of March, okay, it's just a brief journey through to early June this coming year, but it will be back for the long term through to year 44 from the 21st of January 2024. And the Aquarian energy that we're being pulled towards is more about a higher consciousness about how each of our individual behaviours, because Aquarius is very much the sign of the individual, but also how that collectively works with one another. Whereas Capricornian energy is much more to do with the established, the more ordered way of doing things that has become more the precedence over time. So I think that Capricornian energy, as we come into the start of 2023, is still really important, and having Venus and Pluto in a conjunction, my word, that can lead to some fated developments for many people throughout the year. But with Mercury in a retrograde, that's given us a bit of a clue that we need to rethink how we handle resources, how we approach things to do with materialism. Just what value do we put on those old-fashioned notions of status, big properties, big cars? All of those things are going to come under increasing stress through the energy that's going to develop with Pluto in Aquarius. And Saturn has given us a taste over the last few years. So the angle between Saturn and Neptune is asking us to blend our perceptions and our sensitivities with the more progressive side of our thinking and how that interacts with other people. Now, it is also true to say that even though Mercury goes into the retrograde, which it will emerge from on January the 18th, it will still be in its post-shadow retrograde through to the 7th of February. So the early parts of 2023 are not necessarily going to be a straightforward plan. So we can set those New Year's resolutions. I should say that on New Year's Eve itself, the moon is in the sign of Taurus, where it really likes to be. It's exalted here, so a lovely place to be, and it's actually forging a beautiful semi-sextile to Jupiter, the planet of growth, newly arrived back in the sign of Aries. So I think that kind of says to us that the moon in Taurus is very much an appreciation of the good things in life, whether it's good food or good wine, but the Jupiterian energy is asking us through its rulership of Pisces to be mindful of the spiritual dimension, but also that we may have to refocus our longer term aims and goals because the world is changing radically, whether it's through automation, robotics, artificial intelligence, because we have the internet and technology has become at the core of so many of our lives. But as we come into the new year, and I'd like to wish you a very happy new year, On Sunday, the first day of this new dawn, that combination between Venus and Pluto is something to be mindful of, particularly in terms of business situations, because someone very charming and very persuasive is a person many of us will encounter in the new year. But we need to make sure that we're watching out for what the true motivations are of them and perhaps of ourselves on that particular event. So a lot of energy in the sign of Capricorn. That is asking us to think about goals, ambitions, and also it could be a culmination of a lot of effort that's gone in over a long period of time, where some people could get a deserved reward. But I think for many of us, what's absolutely true about modern life is that staying exactly as we are just isn't really an option, because the environment around us, quite literally, but also the interhumanal environment, is quite literally changing by the second. So sticking with those old objectives and those old ways of measuring what's important in life, such as the size of the property we live in, are going to make way much more for how we connect to other people and how we can find kinship, but also how we can find our individuality beyond the realm of purely making money. And I must stress, there's absolutely nothing wrong with making money whatsoever. So please stay with me for your in-depth zodiac forecast. But if you've yet to get your year 2023 12-month personal forecast, if you order it now, you can get your life roadmap as well, 2 charts, and 30% off. But I will also give you your general 12-month forecast, your Chinese forecast for the year, and your Indian forecast. They're all 3 within the package. Please see the link below. So Gemini, your week commencing the 26th of December forecast sees your ruler go into a retrograde. Now it's interesting because this is the first of 3 retrogrades that are going to occur in earth signs. As we go into 2023, we've got the next one is in Taurus, then Virgo, then Capricorn again, and the final one of the year is in Sagittarius, your opposite sign, just for about a week as Mercury inverses. So what does it mean in this particular sector of your situation? Well, I think the 8th house can have many different strands. In a practical sense, it can be about money, longer term money, shared resources, investment, savings, banking, anything to do with legacies, wills, documentation to do with the outcome of situations. But also in a more spiritual context, it can be to do with where things make way. Everything in life has an end and a beginning, and that's very much about the 8th house, very scorpionic. So you could find yourself thinking extremely deeply over this week about what you really want and who you want to be most connected to, where you're going to be most invested, the 8th house, the investments, in terms of the emotion or the cash. But also Venus is there, so something good could come from the conjunction between Venus and Mercury. Don't see the retrograde as being a black and white bad thing. It can be an opportunity to refigure, rejig, recalibrate our approach to situations. And perhaps when it comes to how you earn money, because everything has become so much more expensive, you may be thinking about how you could perhaps make your life a little simpler, get rid of the dead wood that's not really important. 8th house, very much about making way. So that could be making the decision to get rid of some stuff that's no longer vital to your existence and make some spare cash from it. But of course, Venus also connects to Pluto on the first day of 2023. Whatever your financial status or your romantic status as you go into this new year, be sure that there's going to be some interesting things unfolding over the following 12 months. It's possible in an existing relationship, it could be tested, but it also could culminate a lot of hard work and sharing and application that's gone between you that could reap some benefits. Then again, it could be that someone could leave you some kind of legacy or payout, which would be of great help to you. Then again, maybe it's the sexual dimension of the 8th house that's going to call out to you. I think the conjunction between Venus and Pluto is less potentially toxic than the square or the opposition. And I think it can have an upside. I think it can help you to think more about transitions. You know, nobody owns anybody, and it's a very tough thing that we have, but issues of jealousy, possessiveness and control could come up in close relationships future forward through this year. But also you could meet someone who absolutely knocks you off your feet with their sheer magnetism and awesome vibe that you find is really going to make your heart race that much quicker. So how it pans out for you as an individual remains to be seen. The moon on New Year's Eve, to be fair, is tucked away in your 12th house, and yet Jupiter's in your 11th, very sociable. If you do get together with people, I think it would be people that you feel ultra comfortable with, or perhaps you might invite one or two people around to your house. But I think the moon in the 12th house could see you thinking very, very deeply about what you want from this new year, or what the last year has reflected for you. I know that's absolutely normal, the turn of the years, but I think it's going to be quite evocative for you personally and your sign this New Year's Eve. I'd like to wish you a happy new year, and goodbye for now.